You're raving, you're raving, you're raving with RWR. Fabulous songwriters from Belgium and beyond, the lowlands, the highlands, and far across the pond. On Instagram and Facebook too, you can follow, like, and share. Please hit subscribe and join the tribe from the comfort of your chair. You're raving, you're raving, you're raving with RWR. Good evening, lovers of songs and songwriters. How are you all doing? You're watching episode number 70 of Raving with RWR here on my YouTube channel, Songs from the RWR Room, dedicated to singer-songwriters from Belgium and beyond. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already done so, or you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button there below. It helps me to build the channel and get the songs of these great songwriters out there into the world. I appreciate that very much. If you're watching on Facebook, please give the page, Facebook page, a like. Follow along there on Instagram as well, please, at the RWR Room as well. Tonight's live stream brought to us guitars, the world's finest travel electric guitars, Norwegian invented guitars, G-sharp guitars. Check them out in the description below, if you would be so kind. Thanks very much. As always, tonight the virtual tip jar is open there as well down below. If you'd like to donate to the show or help out in any way, there's a PayPal link down there for you to have a look at. You can also visit the shop, of course, therwrroom.com. Click on shop there. You can get a t-shirt or a mug or something like that, should you feel inclined to do so. If you have any comments or questions for me or the guests tonight, as always, throw them up there, and if they're interesting or nice, I will throw them in, like that man there. Hello, Chris from Deutschland. Guten Abend, sir. Always there, always with us. Great to see you, sir. Thanks for joining tonight, Chris. Anybody else there live, watching live, let us know where you are, where you're watching from, and how you are. It is Wednesday, the 10th of, in case you're watching this in the future. There you go. Now you know. Hope everyone's doing fine and well. My guest tonight is is a fabulous blues musician, singer, songwriter from Dublin. Hung out with the greats, played with all the greats, including Rory Gallagher, to name a few. And I'm really looking forward to talking to him tonight. Excuse me for coughing. Hello, Stephen. Stephen, Mr. Good Mojo is down there. One of my great streamer fans and friends from downtown Scott. And we have Mr. Jamie Bulgaria in there as well. People from all over the world. Wow. That's what we like to see. Hiya, Jamie. Welcome. Good to see you, and good evening. Jamie did a great stream with me here as well on the channel. Check out Jamie McDonald's live stream here on the channel with me. Great chat, great singer-songwriter from the man from Carlo, living in Bulgaria. So without further ado, now we have all that out of the way for the moment, all my advertising, let's go over and talk to the great Eamonn McCormack. I don't know, is he in Dublin? Is he in Germany? Let's figure it out. Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
Great to see you. Long time, Eamonn. We gave this a stab last year, I think, and it all went haywire on us and stuff, but we're back now. We're back in action. Fingers crossed. Yeah, we're going to get one done now.
Yeah.
But there was connection issues and all kinds of stuff going on. But we'll as you said, fingers crossed. We'll get this happening tonight. Eric is there Eric Malfay from Bertum. Hello, Eric. Great to see you as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. How are you doing, Eamonn? And Happy New Year to you, first of all. It's great that you're here on the show.
Likewise, and I'm doing fine. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing the best I can in these strange times.
Yeah, absolutely strange times. I know. Yeah. Storyteller is out. Your album is fabulous. Thank you for sending it, by the way.
Thank you.
Great. What number album is this now at this stage, Eamonn?
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah.
Wow,
indeed.
but it's going really well for me. You were saying that it charted and everything, did it?
It did. In Belgium, I think it got number 1 in Belgium in one of the blues charts in iTunes, or the main charts. I can't remember.
Ah, great.
I'll keep up with it, but it did. Yeah. It did well. We got it out last year around April, May. It was delayed a bit because of the COVID, and then it came out.
Yeah.
And it's my most well-received album to date. It's critically acclaimed, as the record label call it, you know.
Yeah, it did. What is your label, Eamonn?
It's actually my own, but I have a marketing distributed through SAOL in Hanover.
Right.
And I'm amplified distribution in America, which is going to be released there actually this May.
Oh, great! So it's going to be
In
released in
Canada,
America.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
Because
Okay.
we got the opportunity with it charting in most of the blues charts across Europe, and they said get it out. And I'm actually working on new material for the next album, which is great. That's keeping me busy and keeping me out of trouble.
I can't keep you out of trouble. Yeah.
Indeed.
How was this? I know you're a family man as well, but so you're busy anyway. But was COVID, this lockdown stuff? Did it make you kind of immerse yourself in more writing work, performing work, or did you take like a step back, like a lot of people did during this time, or how's it been?
Bit of both. A little bit of both. There was a period. The first lockdown, I kind of chilled a bit more, and then coming into the second one, I seemed to be more inspiration then, and I kind of got into writing, and of course I'm kept on my feet with the two young kids as well. They
Yes.
Doing a little bit of homeschooling. My God.
Oh wow, are you?
I'd have to write a song, a blues song about that. But no, it's going great. And but I tend to. There was a few periods where I kind of was just took it too easy, and kind of now I'm back. I'm actually keeping fit at the home gym, and I'm actually working out and writing, and just kept on my toes now.
Wow.
So that's
yeah.
the second. That's the second time around with this lockdown. I approached it different, let me say.
The second time around, okay, yeah,
a bit more positive.
Yeah, indeed, it was all very kind of daunting. The first one, we didn't know what to expect, of course, and it was hard on a lot of people's heads and hearts. It was, but I suppose we just kind of deal with it and move along with it as best we can, you know. It's all we can do. But you have the home gym as well. I mean, your shows are high energy. I often wondered, do you work out apart from the gigs? I mean, you shed a lot of sweat at the gigs, Eamon, because they're high energy gigs. Your bands, yeah, amazing.
I try to balance it, and of course the two lads with me, Max and Eddie, they're let's say a fistful of years younger than me, and they keep me on my toes as well, you know.
Keeping on your toes, yeah.
Which is great. You do. You have to kind of stay fit on the road as well. I mean, when I was a younger man, I didn't have to worry about things like that, you know. But I do. I keep fit, and I miss the road. There was a little wee window of time in August, September. I actually did a few solo gigs in Holland,
in
Germany, and it was. Because it was restricted, of course, audience-wise. I think one place in Holland, a lovely venue, there was 50 tickets was maximum that could be sold, and they were sitting down. So really intimate. I enjoyed that, you know, and I played a few shows, but then that was all nipped in the bud by the European government, of course. So it was back to the drawing board, the home studio again, you know.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Do you do a lot of home recording? I mean, do you get into it in a big way or a little way? I mean, you have
I actually really. Stay clear of all the. I plugged. I'm a bit. I won't say I'm technophobic. No, I even have a smartphone now. But I plugged once on my laptop. I have a MacBook, right? And I tried GarageBand once, right? Forget Pro Tools and all that. And I got one of those modems, and I interface, and I plugged my guitar into the laptop once about 10 years ago, and it just didn't feel right, and I ran scared immediately. So what I do is I actually do have a Boss digital recorder, so an 8-track, so I can bang the ideas down.
Yeah.
I use that at home in the studio, and then usually try send bits acoustic even to the band, and then when we get to rehearse, we bang out the song then the way I would visualize it, you know, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I never got into it because it's also. I know some people, you get caught up in that recording, you never have enough. You end up getting.
You can get bogged down on
equipment, yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely.
All the equipment in the world and no album full of.
That's right. Yeah, you're right to focus on the writing and the playing first. Do you work predominantly as a trio then, Eamon,
We
with
do.
the two lads, and you don't expand on that. It's always been drums, guitar,
sure.
and bass.
Sure, there might be a guest who will come along
Okay.
over the years, like a saxophone, another guitar player, or whatever it is.
Sure.
I think one of the last tours I did in Ireland, we had Robbo from Thin Lizzy and Motorhead, you know, Brian Robertson. That was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
And, so guests sometimes, I think only it's years since I had a keyboard player, but that's the thing. Eddie, our bass player, is great, Eddie Card. He's got one of these units now that I think was originally developed by even Geddy Lee from Rush was involved with the bass pedal. So now while he's playing the bass, he can still play like the Hammond B3 with his feet, you know?
Oh, yes. Yeah, wow.
Twinkle
wow.
Toes McCarb. But he's mastering it now. The last time we were rehearsing, he got it down. I said, oh, it sounds like a four-piece band, you know?
Amazing too, eh? What these guys can do and what you can do with pedals now, and you know, in the hands of a good player as well, or at the feet of a good player as well, as I say.
Oh, great.
Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing, yeah. But you know, we'll talk a little bit. I mean, you have a long history in the blues scene, Eamon. You know, members of Thin Lizzy, of course, Rory Gallagher played a big part in your life. You know,
Sure.
on stage and off. We'll talk about that as we go along. But let's play a song to kick this off, Eamon, if you wouldn't mind, and tell us a little bit about an appropriate song, Internet Star. We're all internet stars at the moment. That's a good choice of song.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about where this came from.
That's from the double album that I recorded with Jonathan Noyce on bass guitar and Darren Mooney on drums. They worked a lot with Gary Moore, and I recorded a double album with those guys. It was wonderful. Working with Chris Kangareeves, who sadly passed away since then, back in 2017, yeah. And this was one of the tracks from the electric disc. It was an electric and an acoustic disc. And this was one called Internet Star.
The double album, one is electric and one is acoustic. Is that what you mean? Oh,
indeed, yeah.
Oh, wow. Great. Well, let's play this song, folks, from the great Eamonn McCormack. Let's rock it out, and we'll see you in a few minutes, and we'll have more chat from Eamon. How's that sound, Eamon?
Great, thank you.
Sounds good. Here we go.
Sounds
Internet
good.
Star, folks.
Yeah.
Turn it up, rock it out.
See the internet star, world famous on the net. Oh yeah, all those internet stars, yeah, the world famous on the web. They never played a live gig or even tread the boards yet. They just sit down on their bed and they play what's already been said. Yeah, they sit down on their bed and they play what's already been said. And then they get 10 million views and it's gone to their head. Thousands of friends, hundreds of likes. They never get so lonesome in their digital life. But can they feel the blues? 'Cause it don't mean a thing when they're living in the cyber dream. Take it away. See the internet star, world famous on the net. All those internet stars, yeah, they're famous on the web. They ain't ever played a live game, even tread the boards yet. You see them sitting on the bed, and they're playing what's already said. That's right. They just sit down on the bed, and they're playing what's already been said. Then they get 10 million views, and it's gone to their head. All those thousands of friends, hundreds of likes, and they don't get lonesome in their digital life. Can they really play with feel? Can they feel it? It don't matter a damn, and they're living in this cyberspace machine.
Yes. Baby got the blues. Internet star. Some great lines in that. He sits down on the bed playing what's already been said, and then gets 10 million views gone straight to his head. Oh, an all too common occurrence these days, isn't it?
It is.
Internet stars of the future, not very old school, where a lot of them haven't even done gigs. You're just saying the song.
And influencers and all that. And I know it was not. I didn't want any badness in it. Some people misunderstood. I actually encourage. I even share and encourage young kids playing. You know, which is great. I think
absolutely
where it can get dangerous is where does a kid, say 5 years of age, playing Hendrix note for note, and then getting the million views, and then the parents are reading out 10,000 comments saying he's the new Hendrix, right? And that's where it gets dangerous. So then he gets a teenager, and then he's wondering, oh, hold on, wait a minute, I haven't done much gigging yet. I mean, Hendrix was touring literally when he was 15 years of age before he ever came to England on the road with the Isley Brothers. He was with Little Richard and all that. He really, I mean, he paid his dues for years before he got to England, you know. So
indeed, before he ever known,
it can be a bit dangerous in that way, and that was my point to the whole.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely right. You have to be careful. I mean, I think we mentioned this before, but even as an older person, I think wasn't it Don? What's the harmonica player who played on the U2 album? Don Baker, yeah. So Bono almost ruined his career once by calling Don Baker the best harmonica player in the world. You know, because he played on this U2 album, and Dom was like, "Don't say that, you know. I mean, I'm good, but don't be labeling me with such accolades. It's not fair either.
Yeah,
you know, it can go wrong.
It can be the kiss of death, you know.
It's absolutely right. Excuse me. So which part of Dublin did you grow up in?
I was born and bred. I was born in the good old Rotunda Hospital there.
Ah, yeah.
Around the corner from Moore Street. You can't get more central.
Right.
North side. I'm a North Sider all the way.
North Sider all the way. Good man.
Like the commitment. What I was mainly until I was about 16, and I grew up in Clontarf actually myself, and with a few great guitar players as well. Norman Teeling, the artist, I learned a lot from him.
Oh wow.
And
And did you go straight into the blues? I mean, why the blues? You didn't end up a folk singer or a Dubliner fanatic, or was it rock first then blues, or how did you get into it?
No, actually, a little. I started to Cat Stevens first, right? And then a little bit Neil Young, and I was still aware of what was happening on Top of the Pops because my sisters and I would be so I was up to date with what was happening in the charts every Thursday. Top of the Pops. Slade, I was big into Slade as well.
Ah, I see.
But my sister went to America while I was quite young. Maybe I was only about 12, and I'd already a little pickup going on to my acoustic guitar. I had no electric or anything. Plugged into the old stereo. Not like today you can pick up packages to starter kits, which are great for kids, beginners, for buttons, with nothing like that years ago. So then she came back with a bunch of albums, and I picked them up and I said, what's this? Jimi Hendrix, Cream, Taste, Rory.
Yeah.
So I started to play them, and then that opened up everything. And then the first album I actually remember going into town and buying was, I was probably about 15, was B.B. King Live at the Regal. So I actually got the blues bitten by the whole blues scene very quickly then. Right. And of course, Clapton, I learned it through the great white guitar players from the UK and Ireland, like Rory, Clapton, and then I explored then later where the roots came from,
So this by your teenage years then you were already out gigging and playing the blues at that stage, were you? Or was it a bit later? Yeah.
No, I was I remember I was teaching at around 12 years of age, 13 years of age. I went to this lady for a few lessons, and she felt I was too advanced, so she said, "Would you mind taking a few students?" So I did that.
Oh wow!
For a little while. Yeah, it was great. A few bob in my pocket, And
yes.
And then I ended up playing in garage, jamming in bands. Probably sounded crappy, you'd imagine. But you kept at it, doing covers and trying to write things. And then you do school gigs, you do little gigs. There'd be an odd gig going on. And that's how it started. And then I actually ended up used to go and watch bands play and get up in the interval and do a couple of tunes. So that was a great experience. And then I would have been about 16 then. I think I got my first paid gig when I was 16 or 17.
Good man.
And I actually, you can never underestimate the experience I had. I was also playing a lot of folk masses, when I was about 11, 12, 13 years of age, like every Sunday, to a big audience. So I was on stage, with Brendan O'Connor, another great friend of mine, and we played together, and it was good because there was a big audience, and we kind of, now and again we'd throw in a blues lick, and the priest would look over, what's that,
God forgive you.
the devil's music.
No, God forgive you. Brilliant. And so did you, when you're obviously you're very popular in Germany, and you've been over and back sort of all the time between sort of Dublin and Germany mainly. I know you've toured in other parts of the world, but I suppose Germany has been very good to you, has it, over the years? Yeah,
always. Germany, Holland, a little bit Belgium. I did the Belgian Rhythm and Blues many years ago. That's a great festival. It has, and I got had the pleasure of playing Rock Palace twice, which is great, including 2019. And then 25 years ago, I did it as well with Leonard Skinner and Molly Hatchet and David Bowie the following night. You know, as a headliner, it was great. That was in Lorelei.
Wow.
But it has been. But I did spend a few years in America as well.
I didn't know.
1920, I headed off. Yeah, I spent 4 years in America. The East Coast, Boston, New York. Traveled a bit up to, had some family around Detroit. Then I went out and lived in California for a while. So I learned a lot in America as well, an awful lot.
Great. So you got to work with lots of people. Did you record anything out there, or just mainly just soak it off?
A few little
songs and
things I have on cassette, but I never recorded anything proper.
Cassette? What do you mean? What's a cassette?
Yeah. I got to play and jam every week with a band called the Heat Brothers, which was an offshoot of Canned Heat. And they were quite well known, yeah. And a few times people would show up. Like, well, John Preston used to show up, and I always played with him. And he worked with Frank Zappa and George Harrison and all that.
Brilliant.
He was great. And he played keyboards in the old Freddie King stuff as well. He was a great old. He's still alive and performing, and he's nearly 90. Honestly, or he's in his 80s.
Amazing too, isn't it?
85. Yeah, I'm on Facebook with him, and he brought down one evening, I'll never forget it, J.J. Cale and Jim Keltner, who had played with Eric Clapton and all that. So they got up and jammed with us. That was fantastic, you know.
Amazing! Wow, what a great! It must have been a mighty experience. In fairness, to have those guys walk in.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll never forget it. You know?
Just to remind people, EamonnMcCormack.net is your website. Eamon, can everybody find your music and links to everything from there? I know
everything's there.
Everything is there.
Social media links.
I have your Facebook page there as well, linked underneath. For anybody who is watching on Facebook, please suss out Eamon McCormack music and give it a like as well, folks. The Great Famine song, Eamon, and amazing. It's not as bluesy as I expected from you. It's very ballady, folky, which is lovely, and bluesy at the same time. Amazing song. Did you write it to commemorate the anniversary of it, I think, or was it kind of done before that?
It was done just about only a few months before that. It was recorded just a little while before the anniversary. I actually had thought of writing. Tell you what happened. I had thought of writing a song about the famine 25, 30 years ago, literally. And one of these things, the back scratching your head, but I never got around to it. And I often thought of it. And I was in Dublin back in a trip in 2018 with my new manager, and he went into I had some appointment. He went into an exhibition that was in off Grafton Street on the famine. And I remember saying, I went back to meet him then, and there was this one huge, big black and white photo, lovely one from the famine days, you know. And I remember taking a picture of that, and I said, you know what, Ben? I've been thinking about writing a song about the Great Famine, but now I have to. I've just taken that photo now. I'm going to have it on the phone, and I'll kick my ass, and I'm going to do it. So when I did sit down to say, okay, I have an album to do, I started. It was actually the first song. It's the first song on the album, the first video we've done, and it was the
on Storyteller.
The first one I wrote on Storyteller.
On Storyteller, and it's a beautiful song, Eamon. And
thank you.
Yeah, it really is. And do you remember who did the video for it? Because also a wonderful video.
A great company near Hanover. I can't think of the name.
Well, maybe we'll think about it.
In Germany, they did a great job.
They did a great job, because there's some lovely footage and photos and imagery from. I don't know if it was Clonmacnoise or one of the monasteries from.
Maybe it is. I think.
My neck of the woods, but it's gorgeous. We'll give it a spin, and I just want to remind the listeners as well. I play them back through YouTube, folks. They get a bit squashed and compressed. You know how it is on the net. So I always encourage you to go and suss out these videos yourselves later on Eamonn's YouTube channel and check them out with proper sound and all that kind of stuff. You know. So we'll give it a spin, Eamon, and it's.
Okay.
I know you're going to enjoy it. It's 1845 to 1850 when millions starved on Irish shores and headed off to find better lives, and a lot didn't make it. Great song from Eamon McCormack called "The Great Famine." from his album Storyteller. It's gorgeous.
The year of our Lord 1845, the Emerald Isle of Ireland, no God on her side, the devil put the poison main crop on the land. The putcheon ran dry. The great hunger began. Can you tell me why? Oh, why? Tell me why. Word came from Dublin, from the powers that be. London's turned a blind eye. A famine was to be. 3 million people headed off on a trip. Most wouldn't meet their maker. Some boarded a ship. Can you tell me why? Why? Oh, why? Tell me why? Oh, why? Tell me why they had to die. They sailed into New York, leaving families home in hell. On the Atlantic Ocean bed, many poor souls still dwell. The church leader sat on his throne, his flock starved to death. A golden chalice full of wine. I'm sure they say he did his best. Oh, tell me why. Can you tell me why? Tell me why, oh, why? So many people had to die. why. Oh, why? Why? Tell me why. Oh, tell me why. Oh, tell me why. Oh, tell me why. Tell me why.
Great stuff, Eamonn McCormack, sir. That's a
Thank
powerful
you.
song from a powerful album. Storyteller, it's called, folks. Check it out, eamonnmccormack.net. Yeah, brilliant. A harrowing story from our Irish history, our Irish heritage.
Dark.
Yeah, a lot of songs written about that, but that's one of the finest, Eamon. Great work.
Thank you.
Do you always solo songwrite, Eamon, or do you ever delve into the co-writing world, or is it something that
I do. I
co-write? Do you?
I co-write a bit, and we wrote a song 100 years ago together.
Well, we did that actually. Yes, I remember that.
And I have, and I'm going to do more co-writes again. But this album was one of those things. I just, I was put under pressure, which I work better on sometimes. You know, the record, the management, the label, and all that kind of said, well, listen, can we have an album ready for release in April? And could we get the masters right? Blah blah blah, whatever. And I said, yeah. And I went home and I said, I've nothing, only a few tiddly bits, you know. So
yeah,
and I worked better that way, because then I just got out my booklet and blank pages, and I just said, and I wrote this album actually, even though there's some heavy songs on it, blues rock vibe material on it, as well as easier slow blues and even a love song on it as well. But I actually did this whole album. I wrote it pretty quick, like literally at 7-8 weeks. I wrote the whole album.
Wow, impressive!
And I did it all on an acoustic guitar. I wrote the whole album, which I never did before, on an acoustic guitar. I remember it just happened by accident, and I remember halfway through it thinking, you know, I remember actually even reading an article once about Bruce Springsteen, and he writes a lot of the, Born in the USA stuff was all written on acoustic. Himself on an acoustic guitar, you know. Yeah.
Amazing,
so,
isn't
they
it?
pretty much rock it, and yet you know them with the acoustic in it.
That's an interesting. Speaking of acoustics, that's an interesting looking acoustic beside you there. Will you tell us a little bit about some of the guitars off stage, if you don't mind? Because I know you also kind of promote. Yeah, please.
Yeah, this is one of the companies I promote. It's FGN, and it's a great company. FGN is the new European marketed name for Fujigen, which is from Japan, which is from the Fujigen factory. And Fujigen is basically Fuji. The Fuji part is the Mount Fuji, the volcano.
Mount Fuji,
And gin. Well, I guess in Ireland we'd be drinking it, but apparently the phonetic name means instrument in Japanese or something, right? So it's basically Mount Fuji instruments. And they've been around 60 years making. They've been making Gibsons, Fenders, Ibanez. So they make most of the Ibanez for years. So they brought out their own brand. Let's see, that's the Fujigen name, right? And that's where they shortened it. Can you see that? There's not much light in here, but there you go. And then
so it was. Now it became FGN. Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's
I have quite a few of them there, and they're beautiful. I mean, of course they know about how to build a guitar when you're, years building Ibanez and Fender and Gibson. So they made them. That's a lovely.
Yeah. Of course, the internet's doing them justice, but even with this internet connection, they look gorgeous. They look very well crafted.
Yeah, they are. There's a lovely feel to them, and they sound great too. And then I only brought a few of them up here from the studio. That's the an SG version.
SG.
A D10 they call it, and that sounds lovely as well. I played that on. I think I soloed on that one on the Great Famine. Yeah, I did actually.
Oh, did you? Okay. Our friend Al Johnson there spends a lot of time in Japan. He knows those guitars. Hi Al, thanks for tuning in. There's a nice comment there up from Al Johnson there. He knows the guitars, yeah. But it's amazing. These days you get a lot of bang for buck, don't you? On some of these sort of, as we say, lesser known guitars, and sometimes it takes a year or two for them to become well known. But you can get such quality now with a little money, and it's very true. But FGN are certainly one to watch out for.
It is. Yeah.
And is that
they are available in the UK and maybe in Ireland?
Are they as well? Was that an acoustic that you picked up the first one?
Yeah, that's an acoustic. It has another company I endorse. LR Bags. They have a built-in LR Bags microphone. Oh, that's actually.
Yeah, so interesting. In the
you
front.
You can do one of those. I don't know what you hear there. That's a little. It's a snare.
Oh, seriously? You can give it a slap and.
Get out of tune or whatever. So the kids, I think, are messing around with. That's anyway, that's all that is. That's the thing I put on for fun. It gives me a bit of rhythm.
Yeah.
At home.
Oh no, it's cool. Very nice, Eamonn. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing those FGN guitars. I'll certainly go and I'll be researching them now. Yeah.
Do it.
Any other companies you just want to shout out? If you endorsers or people?
Yeah. A new endorsement.
There's a bit of a delay going on. But there's other companies, shout them out there.
That's a pity now.
One more time, Eamonn.
Anyway, for many years I used to endorse DR strings, but now I'm with Ernie Ball now, which is great. They're one of my favorite strings.
Yeah.
I use Ernie Ball, and I think
great indeed.
And I endorse Hughes and Kettner guitar amps, a great German company. I heavily endorse them. I have my new guitar system, about 3 amps from Hughes and Kettner.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, another great company indeed. I just became a member of the AER family myself, so we won't fight over the over acoustic amps tonight. But both, what can you say? Great companies, absolutely, both great companies.
Brilliant, great amp, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Were you in Ireland recently? Any gigs in Ireland before sort of pre-lockdown, Eamonn, or has it been a long time since you gigged at home?
It's I think about a year and a half now since I was at home.
Has it?
Playing, gigging.
Okay.
About a year and a half.
Gigging, yeah.
So I have some dates. I have some dates coming up in November as well with the Band of Friends, which was basically Jerry McAvoy and Brendan O'Neill on drums. Rory's old guys. They're a great band. And so I'm going to do some shows with those guys, and they have a couple of guitar players with them, an English guitar, Paul Rose, and another chap, I can't think of his name. And if that happens, it's going to be Dublin, Cork, Belfast, and Drogheda or Dundalk, maybe, something like that. And that's in November this year. So I'll get back. In fact, I have a few gigs in Ireland penciled in for June. But I don't know for sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah, that could be. I know. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah. Well, hopefully soon anyway. And then, of course, 2022, you said it'll be the American leg of the Storyteller album tour.
Yeah. We have it's a very ambitious plan. What we're going to do is the album comes out in May, Storyteller in America. I start writing now, record, and then March next year, the idea is to release the new album worldwide, including the American and Canadian one, simultaneously with the Europe. Not the way Storyteller was out in Europe first. And then they're bringing out the back catalog as well. They're going to take out. And then I get to, the plan is to get back to America to tour in 2022 with 5 albums released in 22.
Oh, wow.
By 22. By summer.
That's ambitious, all right. That's some plan.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay.
They seem to want to pull it off.
And of course,
big team now,
At that stage, everybody will be straining at the bit as well. Straining at the leash to like bulls in china shops, ready to do as much touring and promoting as humanly possible, I suppose, at that stage.
That's it, yeah.
So I hope it'll come to fruition for you. We'll talk about your connection with Rory Gallagher maybe after this song, but I just thought maybe we'd while we're on the Thin Lizzy topic, and when you're talking about some of the guys you play with, we might play this Phil Lynott that you covered here. One Wish.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you, tell us about why you went with that, and did you actually ever meet Phil Lynott, or
I did. I had the pleasure of meeting Phil 3 times actually. Once when I moved out from towards Sutton Hope, he was around the area, and I never saw him. And my father would come in and say, "You should have gone to mass." I was like 17, 18. Wouldn't get up
you should have gone to mass.
1 o'clock on a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. And he'd say, "You should have gone to mass." And I'd say, "Oh, yeah, why?" He said, "Well, Phil Lynott was sitting beside me." And I said, "No way, you're joking."
No way.
And I never got to see him. So I went to Morocco. I always used to tell Philomena a little bit. I knew Philomena well. God bless her soul. I went to Africa, and the first black man I met in Africa was Phil Lynott. And he lived 3 kilometers away from me in Sutton. In
no way.
I actually met him and hung out with him for a little bit there, which is great. And his wife and kids.
Unreal.
And he actually asked me to hold Sarah while he went to the bar to get a drink. And he came back out, and it was great. On a ferry. And,
that's a great story.
And then I met him then in when he was making the Old Town video. I met him on the Hateley Bridge. That was it. And I was a huge fan. And this particular song you're going to play is was a demo. He only demoed this particular song, right? He had it originally called Harlem, but then he changed the lyrics to One Wish. And he demoed it with Huey Lewis and the News, a couple of those guys I believe were involved. And it was very 80s, it had the drum machine and the synth and everything. But I love the lyrics and I love the actual vibe of the song. And again, the long Irish finger, I said, I must record that one day. And I did 20 years later, And of course, it was kind of a great treat that I was recording it with Chris Tangaridis, who worked with Phil. And Gary Moore's band, and that was special, especially with Jonathan Noyce had actually done the Gary Moore and Friends. He played the bass on the whole Thin Lizzy thing in the Point Depot when they made the DVD.
Right.
So he's on this track as well, and I loved it. I kept it pretty much like the demo, but a little bit different.
Great, it's a great track. Hard to believe Gary's gone 10 years, eh?
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it?
Only this week,
only this week, yeah. I met him once on a plane. I did. Just he happened to be on a plane. He was doing Gary Moore live in Hell, Norway. We were traveling via Trondheim back to Oslo, and I just happened to spot him. An easy man to spot, and it was all starstruck and just like, hello, and are you Gary? Yeah, I mean, we didn't, I said, I'm not going to bother him too much, but a lovely, very personal character. Did spoke to me no problem, and just wish me a good day. Lovely man. 10 years gone today. Yeah. So we will send
him twice.
Yeah, we might send this track out to him. So tonight, let's do that. Let's dedicate it, shall we, to the memory of Gary Moore. A great cover version, folks. Song called One Wish, written by the one and only Phil Lynott, performed here by Eamonn McCormack and band. Check it out.
Wonder what it's like to be their friend. Someone who is just like you. With that I pretend I would keep this friendship, and then my life might end. So if you're all true, ooh, darling, I had a wish, my dreams came true, but I lost it all. I lost you, held the hope. My hopes ran high, but I lost it all when you said goodbye. I have often wondered, sometimes selling soul, sometimes when I need you, darling, you grow colder. I have often wondered to be so depressed. Darling, help me now, I must confess. I had a wish, my dreams came true, but I lost it all when I lost you. I held the hope close to my heart, but I lost it all when we drifted apart. Just one wish, it's just a dream. I give it up to go back again. I held the hope, my hopes ran high, but I lost it all when you said goodbye. I have often wondered what it's like to be the friend, someone who's just like you. With that I pretend I would keep this friendship going down my life might end. If you're all true, ooh, darling, I had a wish, have a dream, but I lost it all when you said goodbye. My hopes ran high, just one wish, I wish for just one wish. Lost in my loneliness, drowning in my selfishness, wrecked in my helplessness, missing your tenderness.
And there's the great fellow at the end there. Lovely touch there in the video, Eamon.
Yeah.
Coming in there at the end. There was nobody like him in the world, huh?
Oh no, he was great, and I'm still a huge fan. You know, I listened to his even the solo stuff and all that. He was great, and he was all, apart from a great songwriter and all that. He was a great, I believe, a great singer as well, and he had great timing, and it's only recognized that in the last few years. Even doing that track, you have to. His timing when he sings is very much like the soul guys, you know, like Marvin Gaye and all that. They're kind of never just on the note. They're a little bit behind or a little bit in front. And,
yeah, they're off it all the time.
He was a genius at that.
He did that very well. Absolutely. It even sounded. I mean, I don't know if the song itself in a straight signature, or was it?
Yeah.
It was straight. But you were singing it a bit off, like he was. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. Really was. And great. Yeah, I know, which did a great job in it, of course. And of course, he, as you said, only demoed it. You know, he'd love to hear it, you know, come to life like that. He would have loved that. Maybe. Absolutely. Did you embrace any of this live streaming malarkey, or did you not bother with it?
Only one, and it was lovely because we got together with the band, and it was on the 25th anniversary of Rory Gallagher, and it was one that he was involved with, and it was great. So we did that, and there was about 10 artists on it, and that was the only one. But I didn't. I was busy with doing radio interviews and things, and I just ended up saying I'll stay clear of. And I didn't have a smartphone at the time, and I hadn't got the equipment, so I didn't get totally into the streaming. I know a lot of people were doing it, you know, and it was great.
Sometimes it was done to death, of course, but
yeah,
we had to be careful with it, you know. Even in the first lockdown, I mean, I was doing this many months before Corona happened, and I had to kind of pull back a bit as well. People were kind of getting a bit sick of the, you know, this I'm streaming now and I'm streaming now and I'm streaming, you know. So it was a little bit overkill for a while. Yeah, it was.
I remember there was a running joke going on weekends on Facebook. It was like, okay, I'm staying in. I'm going to have a beer at home. I'm going to watch one of the 3,700,062 streams. I have to figure which one, you know.
I figure out which one. Yeah, absolutely. And then you're trying to do a stream and you know, you see Bruce Springsteen is going live now, or what can you do? Like, you know, it's just like, oh, why bother? It's just it was crazy times. But yeah, I didn't either, of course. But I was working on these streams for other musicians, of course, which is fun, a fun thing to do, and I enjoy. It's an enjoyable part of the channel. But that probably brings us on to the man himself, Mr. Rory Gallagher. Just tell us how you met Rory, and you know what he meant to you in your life, and how you ended up working with him, please, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, indeed. I was a huge fan of Rory's, obviously, because after I went from the acoustic to the electric, he was like my number one idol, you know, still is.
Yeah.
And it was actually in around 1981, 82, I had met him, and it was a pure luck. I was at the Punchestown Racecourse Festival, and he was there, U2 were on and all that, and a guy I barely knew, but he was with some other people, came up to me and he said, "Hey, I know you're a huge fan of Rory's, you know." I was kind of just in his company, but I didn't know him, you know, hanging out. And I said, "I am indeed, you know." He said, "Well, listen, my wife has just taken ill and I have a backstage pass. Would you like it, you know?" And I said, "Would I like it?" I nearly bit his arm off, you know. I said, "You know,
would I what?
Your wife gets well soon." So I remember I was with a few lads, right? I was with a few guys, and I said to them, "Hey, I have a backstage pass. I'll be back shortly. I'm heading over." And they thought I was bullshitting, you know. And I walked over.
Yeah, of course.
And you know the way over to the side of the stage, you know, they were all people in the front. I don't know who was on at the time, I can't remember. And I walked over to a big bouncer, and he's like, "Yes, kid." And I just flashed my thing, and he said, "This way, sir." So I went straight in the back, and there was all these caravans there, and I was standing around on my own, right? And I said, "Oh, there's Bono, you know, that's Bono from, he went to school with my sister," and I saw his band in the local school, you know. I said, "What's he doing here, you know?" And then I remember that he disappeared, and I remember the gates opened, and in drove this Mercedes car. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I walked over, you know, like I was, you know, greeting the people, bringing them in, you know, and the door opens, and out walks Rory, and I said, "How are you, Rory? How are you?" I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "I'm looking forward to today." And I said, "Yeah," and it was a beautiful day, and I couldn't believe I was like starstruck. I said, "Yeah, I'm doing fine, how are you?" And then he walked over, and they brought, I think one of the lads brought him up and said, "This is your backstage caravan, you know." And he went in, and then he came out a little bit later, and I hung around, and it's a pity. I ended up, a guy took a photo of me with him then, but I lost it in California, so that's a pity. I was very, very young. I was only 17 or 18 at the time when I met him, you know.
Oh, wow.
And then, when you hear this is the third I've forgotten. Talk about a double whammy. Rory was busy then, I don't know, he hadn't played it. There was a band on just before him, and he was busy. I think somebody even went in and maybe had an interview, you know, with him in the caravan, in the backstage. And the door opened again, and another Mercedes came in, and I just walked down again, like I'm, you know, greeting these people, you know.
Hello, it's me, yeah.
And who opened the door and got out? Philip Lynott himself. And I said, hey, Phil,
Oh, no way.
how are you? I met you in Morocco a few months back. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what's this, you know?
What's happening?
Bono over there.
Over in the corner.
I met my idol, Rory, and Phil here, my other idol.
Yeah.
And you had no idea. I was on a high for about a week after, you know.
Imagine.
And I remember then going up. And then they actually jammed together later with Paul Brady. Paul Brady was there as well.
Paul Brady was backstage, yeah.
And it was just fantastic. He actually got up and performed as well with Phil Lynott and Rory as well as a.
Oh yes, I think there is a photograph flying around. It's their famous photograph of the three of them flying around.
So,
I remember seeing that now that you mention it, and that was at that gig. Wow. And
then I got to know Rory later. I met him in. How it happened was I met him in California, and I hung out with him. We went out that night and all after a great gig in Hollywood, California, of all places in the world, and we exchanged. Addresses and everything like that. And we kept in touch then. We became friends. And then I met him as I started touring and all that. I used to write to him and he'd write back. And that was a huge thrill for me, you know, because he knew I was actually playing in bands and he knew I had an old strap and everything. He tried it. And we became later very close friends just before we recorded, we got very close. And then we were recorded, and then after he recorded 6 months before he died, I hung out with him a lot. Then I went back to London and just spent time with him because it was quite a sad ending for him, you know.
Yeah, it was.
Died young.
He did way too young. You know, he hung out up the road here in Ghent in the 70s as well.
He did.
He did. Yeah,
with Roland.
Yeah, that's right. I remember my friend was telling me earlier. Maybe he's still watching about having beers with Rory and Roland in Ghent, probably in the 70s, was it, Stephen? If you're still watching, let us know when that was. But yeah, he
loved it there.
Roland and himself, he loved Ghent. He absolutely did. You know, we all love Ghent. It's a great town, great musical town, of course.
Brilliant,
as well. Great city for that. You know, wonderful. What was the song, or was it was a song or a full album that Rory worked on with you?
The song, we guessed it on one song. We had Jan Ackerman and Pete Donald from Moving Hearts and Rory.
This is the Falsely Accused from '95, is it?
That's right, yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
And it's that came out in my Samuel Eddy days. We recorded it, and then it was re-released on the album Kindred Spirits under my name Eamonn McCormack, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. Samuel Eddy was an old stage name, of course. That was what was confusing me. Yes, that's right. That's probably when we met for the first time. You were
yeah, it would have been.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so, Eamonn. Yeah, probably with the days. And we did the IMRO workshop. Was it probably '95 or something like that? Yonks ago, and we were there to co-write songs with different people, and that was our first meeting when we were paired off together. I can't even remember the song. Do you remember the song we co-wrote or tried to co-write? I can't remember.
About halfway there or something.
Just right. It was. God, it was IMRO 1995, something like that. Yeah, it was. Whew.
That was fun.
Wow.
Enjoy that.
Wow. Yeah, crazy how time flies, and you know, some people, you know, doing this business as well. We always end up when we're talking about our life on the road. We tend to what appears to be name dropping a lot, but people forget that. It's just what happens. You do this for so long that some of these big names and heroes become friends, and you know, and there's nothing you can do about it but mention their names and talk about them. And that is what happened to you. You've just, it just so happens that you've played with all the greats and you've toured so much, and you could write a book, I'd say.
I've been asked a few times I should. You know, I'm a storyteller. Yeah, it's great. I literally got to tour, record, and play ZZ Top. A huge fan of theirs, and I did a great show in Amsterdam with them. Met the guys and everything.
Amazing.
George Thorogood. I toured with him in Germany.
Fabulous.
Tony Joe White, huge, great fan of his, and toured with him as well. And just Johnny Winter,
cool.
all my heroes. I got to tour with most of them.
Isn't it how blessed you are? Wow, what a great
Walter
thing.
Trell.
Is there anyone else that you have on the list that you kind of go? Anyone else that you're waiting to kind of who?
Yeah, I was asked this last year in an interview. Straight up, the guy that I would most like to, if I was ever fairy godmother said, name one artist that you'd love to jam with, or meet even, and that would be Neil Young. I'm a huge fan of Neil Young's,
Would it? Wow.
And he's getting old now, and so better happen quicker. It'll never
hurry up.
And Eric Clapton.
Those the top two anyway.
Would be my top two at least. So just jam, or meet.
When you met JJ Cale,
to say
just
hello.
jam, just meet, yeah. When you met JJ Cale that time, did a jam happen?
The jam would be amazing. That would be. Yeah, he came into the jam session to get up.
Right.
And I always remember Jim Kettner. I didn't know who he was at the time, and he got up and played with him. And then it was only afterwards I realized. I said, "God, I got to play with a drummer who worked with all these people." George. He's played albums with George Harrison, and he's worked with Clapton and all that. I remember he took me out during the break. He took me out and showed me he had this little camper van, and inside he had the big drum kit all nailed down into the ground. And he told me he used to go along.
Really?
He's quite busy as a drummer. He used to go along the beaches in California and he'd just pull up and rehearse maybe for a tour himself, with the cassette in and playing. This is back in 1983. Yeah. And then he'd probably know the songs, then he'd go to rehearse with the band, be it Clapton or whoever, and he'd know it from his little camper van with the drums in it.
Amazing.
Never forget that.
Never forget it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I'm just going to screen share this, Eamon, before I say good luck to you. But I want to thank you very, very much, Eamon, for your time tonight and for the great chat and the stories, and for your great music, and for being on the show tonight.
My pleasure, Guy. I really appreciate it, and pity about the little bit of dropout, but technology.
Yeah, I know, but of course, everyone is going to fly onto your website now.
Originally, we had planned to have it down at the built-in Irish pub next to my studio, but the internet, forget it.
I know,
it's smartphone, fantastic. But not the old laptop.
I know. Well, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome. And technology being what it is, what I'll do is I'll just come to Germany or wherever you are, and we'll go and we'll visit your inbuilt Irish bar down in the basement, and that I'll do an interview with you there instead.
A fine Irish bar.
There you go.
Beer.
There you are.
I'll hold you to that.
Me too. Me too. Happy New Year, Eamon. The very best of luck with the Storyteller album. Everybody will check EamonnMcCormack.net and all the links there and get your music. And thank you very much for being here, Eamon. Take care.
Thank you. My pleasure. God bless. Take care. Thanks.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
See ya. There you are, folks. The great Eamon McCormack in Germany tonight and touring all the time, EamonnMcCormack.net. Please check out his website. Thank you all very much for tuning in live, or if you thank you for subscribing to the channel, for giving the videos a thumbs up, drop your comments underneath, all that good stuff. And thanks once again to the great Eamonn McCormack, brilliant blues player, Dublin man, and a mighty musician. I'm going to play this song. It's a wonderful song. Rory Gallagher's last performance before he passed away was with Eamonn McCormack. Great song. False the Accused. Check it out. Thank you all very, very much. I'm back again on Saturday night here at the next Raving with Rua with my old school teacher, friend, mentor, and hero, Tony O'Halloran. I hope you'll join us. Take care of yourselves. Thanks again to Eamon. Enjoy this song, folks. See you on the next one.
Billy Ray finished night shift. Stop for gasoline. ran into his double. He man sure looked mean. All hell broke loose because the scene. Next there was some good shot. He got bullet in spree. But he waited nothing long. And then he set my work down. Cops arrived at the scene. Witness told all. Red Rocks arrested him. Suspect number one. Next there was a lineup. Identified Billy Ray. Booked him on a murder charge. And robbery. Billy Ray did nothing wrong. Now Billy Ray's gotta stand trial. Night seemed longer. State penitentiary. One big nightmare. Mistaken identity. DA won't set bail. Wanted out of state. Lawyer said plea bargain. Maybe your only fate. Some people are accused in the wrong. They gotta serve all that time. Silence in the courthouse. Feel the atmosphere. Jury passed a verdict. The judge made it clear. This court is found guilty. Substantial evidence. I sentence you to life. I serve in your home. It's a shame. Billy Ray, an innocent man. Does he have to serve all this time? No way. God knows.